What's crackalacking, guys? I'm Quack here, and welcome back to another Marquee Matchups investment video on the channel. Now, we're going to be looking at the Marquee Matchups released on Friday, so probably tomorrow when you watch this. And we're going to pick the teams based on around logic, because there's quite a lot of games going on this weekend. So as you can see, the first match is going to be from the Russian league. It's going to be Lokomotiv Moscow against Sparta Moscow. Now, the reason that we're looking at this game is because recently there was a huge match from this league involving CSKA Moscow as well, one of the top teams, one of the biggest derbies in the league, and it wasn't included in the marquee matchups. Now, this really puzzled me because it was one of the first games after the Russian break as well. Since then, we haven't seen a Russian league match in the marquee matchups either, which makes me think that this one is extremely likely. Again, the same logic as always. Pick up those players that you can pick up that are going to fill the most common positions and pick them up for discard. As you can see, they're constantly available for discard. So even if it's not included, there is no risk involved with it. Right, guys, so the second match we're going to look at is going to be the Belgium Cup final, which is this Saturday. So this is between Oostend, which is probably said horribly wrong, and I apologise for that, and then Zulte Waregem. Again, probably horribly wrong. Don't ever watch the Belgium League, so you've got to forgive me for this one. Now, the reason I believe this one could be chosen is because we don't really see much from the Belgium League in these marquee matchups. It's a bit more of a niche, so they don't come up quite as frequently as the big leagues do. And on top of that, we've seen the likes of the FA Cup included in these, the League Cup from England. Other cups are starting to get included more and more in marquee matchups. So the final of a Belgium Cup, this seems like a huge possibility to me. Again, for the players we want to be looking at, look for around discard. Now, this is going to be a little bit harder, just because, obviously, the Belgium League, so the Pro League, is a League SBC. And this is one of the more expensive teams as well. So as you can see, it's not going to be cheap to pick up players. If we need one player from each team, though, you would be absolutely flying. If we just need players from this team, then you've got loads of bronzes for discard. The golds aren't far off discard either if you're bidding, as you can see. If you can try and snipe a player from, I'm going to try and pronounce it horribly again, Zulte Waregem, you guys will tell me how to say it, and then you'll criticize for me. But you make me a better commentator by doing so, so I thank you for that. Anyway, try and pick up these guys for discard kind of value. Snipe them, bid on them. If you can get these silvers for cheap and it's included, you could make an absolute killing. Right, guys, so the third game we're going to look at in this is going to be from the Greek League. And it's going to be a huge derby between Panathinaikos and Olympiakos. Again, this is a massive match, so it doesn't need much explanation as to why it could be included. I don't think it was included last time, but if it was, then I would definitely, well, firstly, let me know so I don't invest in it. I couldn't find anywhere any information about it being included last time, and they haven't repeated anything so far. But if it is included, then definitely stay away from it. But from what I can remember and find, it wasn't ever used before. As you can see anyway, you can pick up these gold players for absolute discard. So again, you're absolutely minimalizing your risk to barely anything when you're using this method. Pick up a few players from each team. Be smart with your positions. If you can, pick up rare gold players because we're seeing that used more and more. And be smart with your nationalities as well. Right, guys, so the next marquee matchup possibility we're going to look at is going to be between Derby and Nottingham Forest. And this is known as the East Midlands Derby. Now, the reason I feel like this one has a chance of being included is because the big Premier League game this weekend is Liverpool-Man City, which Liverpool have been included in marquee matchups fairly recently. And if they're not going to choose one from the Premier League, there's a huge chance they'll choose one from a different English tier. We've seen so many English Premier League teams used recently that I feel like they might take a break this week and go for a championship match instead. This one just seems fairly obvious to include. If we have a little look through the players, you can pick them up on bids for cheap. You can pick the bronzes up for discard. There again is very little risk in this. Be smart with your investments though. Just make sure you don't overspend. Right, guys, so the last match we're going to look at in this is going to be Lyon against PSG. One of the biggest matches in the League One or League Un at the moment. Again, with this investment, it's fairly obvious. They're huge clubs. There's a chance it could be included. Pick up players for discard. So you got Maxwell here for an 800 coin bid. That's what you want to be spending. If you make a 50 coin loss on him, it's not a huge deal. If you're smarter though and you wait, you could pick up the likes of Guedes for extremely cheap, and that does minimize the risk. The thing that puts me off this PSG against Lyon match, however, is because PSG were recently included in the Champions League marquee matchups. If you were only going to invest in one or two of them, I'd probably avoid this game just based off that reason alone. So guys, if you're still enjoying these smaller investment videos, especially the marquee matchup ones, and you're finding them useful, if you can let me know by dropping a like, subscribing if you're new, and commenting with any questions that you've got, that would be incredible. If we can aim for 50 likes, and this is something we set every time, but we never reach it, and I'm just so pumped to actually reach it in our first video one day, then you guys would be heroes. Anyway guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.